Shri Dikshit, Shri Madhav Bhandari, Excellency the Council of Israel, Zamir, and respected citizens of the city of Bombay, not only in this hall but those outside who are listening to this and hearing about this function through the television. I'm sure that after Israel wins the war, we will have a meeting in Shivaji Park. We have called this meeting to express the solidarity of the Indian people with the people of Israel. I want Israel to know that India, the people of India, support Israel no matter what the government of India is. And by Indian people, I mean all patriotic Indians, whether they are Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Jews, Parsis, all Indians who have a sense of patriotism. Some think that this battle that is going on is between Muslims and Jews. That is what the terrorists want it to appear. I reject this because the patriotic Muslims of India are not part of the international community of Muslims. There is no caliphate which can direct the Muslims of India. And therefore I say, what you are witnessing in West Asia today is a struggle between democracy and terrorism and not between Muslims and Jews. Now, for us, you see, foreign policy of India will be decided on the national interests of India, not on the interests of Hindus, Muslims, Christians, or any other sectional interests. And I've taken this position consistently when I argued that India should have good relations with Sri Lanka, although some of the secessionist parties in Tamil Nadu have been saying there is a Tamil problem and therefore they have a special responsibility to voice the troubles of the Tamil people, Tamil language speaking people of Sri Lanka. In the elections of 2014, all the extremist Tamil organizations candidates were not only defeated, but they lost their deposit in the elections. So therefore, we have to look at what is our national interests. And our national interests, I can tell you and I'll elaborate it, is to be supportive to Israel. Even when we disagree with Israel, because we are friends of Israel, we'll tell them privately, but publicly we shall support Israel whenever we can. Some people are disappointed that our government did not vote with Israel in the last resolution that came in the Human Rights Council. Not to worry, it won't happen the next time. Israel has also understood what special circumstances this was done, and they have not taken it as an unfriendly act on our part. And it's anyway Human Rights Council. Human Rights Council has no teeth unless it's backed by the UN Security Council. So whatever resolution is passed and sent to Israel, they should put it in the waste paper basket. Some people say, why is Israel using so much force for a few rockets from the Hamas side? War is not fought on proportionality. War is fought on the principle of deterrence. If your enemy attacks you, then you should retaliate in such a way that the enemy never again thinks of attacking you again. That's it. So that is what Israel is doing today. India must support Israel, in my opinion, for 6 clear reasons. One is we have no clash of interests with Israel. There is no issue on which we have a dispute with them. We have good relations with China, but we have disputes with them. We even have disputes with Bangladesh or Nepal. But with Israel, we have absolutely no disputes. And from the Israeli side, right from 1948, they have been supportive of India in every major war. In fact, when the Jews came and took refuge here, the people of India welcomed them and built the synagogues for them, which you can still see in various parts of India, like Cochin and Bombay. The Jews lived here without persecution. And when Israel was founded, the modern state of Israel, Israel is not a new nation, it's an ancient nation. Like India, it's an ancient nation with a modern state. And when it was founded not by the Jews, it was founded by the United Nations. And Israel is a member of the United Nations. And to seek the destruction of Israel is against international law. And therefore I say that when the people of India speak for Israel, they have a record. We did not persecute the Jews, and that's why the Israeli parliament, as soon as the modern nation was reconstituted, passed a resolution saying, thank you India, you're the only country where the Jews were not persecuted. So the first reason why we should be friendly with Israel is that we have no clash of interests. We have much to gain by being together. The second reason is that Israel is a democracy, and so we are. But the whole area in where Israel is surrounded by countries which are not democracies. In a vast area, territorial area, Israel is the only democracy. And democracies must be friends of democracies. And I would want to say, furthermore, those who want to liquidate Israel are not only not democracies or not democratic minded, but they also happen to be terrorists and jihadi attackers. So, this is a problem that we also face in Kashmir. And I want to tell you that whatever it is, while in India we are very happy to interact with the Muslims and the Christians and other religious groups, Hindu is a religion which says all religions lead to God. And therefore we respect all religions because they all lead to God. But I want to say this, that if you were to see the countries which are majority or almost all population are Muslims, they do not practice what they demand when they are minorities. For instance, in Saudi Arabia, there are so many Hindu workers there, almost a few millions. But we find that they cannot build temples in Saudi Arabia. They cannot celebrate Diwali in Saudi Arabia. They cannot even hold Satyanarayan Puja inside their house. It's against Saudi Arabian law. They cannot even take a picture of Ramchandra ji in their pocket when they go to work. And severe punishment follows. Do we in our country say to the minorities of Muslims here, you can't build masjids, you can't celebrate Eid? And here they want it. But in their own country, when they are in majority, they do not permit it. Even in our own country. In Kashmir, look at the plight of the Hindus there, the Hindu minority. The Kashmiri Pandits have been driven out of Kashmir. In Kerala, in Malappuram, you have to see the plight of the Hindus there, where the Muslims are in majority. I don't blame the Muslims, their mind is clear. I blame the Hindus because they are confused people. We are like Arjuna sitting in the middle of the battle wondering whether I should kill or not kill. Then why have we come to battle? Krishna had to explain to him. But in the Muslim mind there is no confusion. Therefore I say today, when they say they want to eliminate Israel, wipe out Israel, Hamas has still not recognized Israel. Iran wants to wipe out Israel. What for? It's a country which is incorporated in the modern era by the United Nations. And is against international law to speak in this language. But immediately they will say, no, wipe it out. Why should the Muslims of India identify themselves with the Hamas when they are Indians? They have to look at Indian national interests just like the Tamils. Just as the Tamils have to look at the national interests of India and not the interests of Tamils in Sri Lanka. We may show concern, but that doesn't mean we change our policy. So I would say I expect our Muslims in India that if you are patriotic, you will support what is in the country's interest. And the country's interest is, as I said, for these three reasons, and there are three more reasons I'll give you, why we must support Israel. The fourth reason is that Israel has supplied us weaponry when we needed it most. In the 1965 war, in the 1971 war, even though we did not have full diplomatic relations with Israel. We did not have ambassadors, we didn't have embassy. But still the Israelis supported us at that time. Israel today supports us with vital information on terrorist attacks on India. And they train our commandos to deal with them. The country which is doing this, they give you technology, electronics. In fact, the Israelis do, when they work on technology, they do a much better job than the Americans. In fact, they take American planes and make it superior. At one stage, the government of India was thinking of buying F-16 from America, F-18 from America. So I said, buy it from Israel. Because they take it and put their own electronics, which is superior. But the Americans did not give permission. So we could not. So this community of Israelis, they have demonstrated they are more per capita Nobel Prize winners than any other country in the world. Most of the prominent professors in the European and American universities are Jews. And therefore, for us in this modern era, which is called the era of knowledge, of era of innovation, we need the Israeli support. Israelis have mastered the use of solar energy. Israelis don't have rivers, but if you turn the tap in Israel, the water comes for 24 hours. How? They desalinate seawater. You in Bombay are sitting on the edge of ocean, such a big ocean, the Arabian Sea, but you don't get water. They are in a desert, but they get 24 hours of water because they have invented the technology with the help of solar energy and reverse osmosis. They have produced desalination plants which are able to supply all the water that is needed for Israel. So we need technology. And here is a country which is friendly to you, it has no quarrel with you, there is no clash with you. You're offering technology just because there is an international Islamic community. We can't have good relations with Israel. That is not acceptable. Today, what has happened in Iraq in the name of ISIS is today an alarming thing, because they have created what is called as a caliphate, which means that all Muslims, wherever they live in whichever country, they have to owe allegiance to the caliph called Ibrahim. Now this is a dangerous philosophy. They are connected up with Al-Qaeda, they are connected up with Taliban, and Taliban says that India is an incomplete chapter of Islamic history. Because wherever else they went and conquered, they have converted the local population into 100% Muslim country population. But in India, after 800 years also, there are 80% is Hindu. The last Caliph, namely Umar, he conquered most of Europe. And then he declared, I'm going to India. He came to Sindh. And 3 kingdoms, Hindu kingdoms, of Pratihara of Gujarat, Chalukyas of Maharashtra and Andhra, defeated them, and it was the collapse of the Caliphate. And I want to say that today, if the Caliphate again threatens us, we'll again defeat them the way we did. We are no longer holding back. Now, therefore, for these reasons, and the fact that we have had harmonious relations with the Jewish community, we are Jews in our country, we have had inter-religious discussions with the Jews, and in that an important breakthrough took place when the Jewish rabbis accepted that India may have many gods, but it's a manifestation of a single God. And they said, from now on, Jews and Hindus will be together in the religious sphere also. Now today, what we are witnessing is a crude attempt was made for the destruction of Israel. It was the beginning. What started in Iraq led to a similar uprising in Gaza, and subsequently it was to extend, but Israel took preemptive action. And that preemptive action is now, media-wise, could be portrayed in any way, it doesn't matter to us. I can tell the people of Israel, let the media show only one side, it will make no difference to the 80% or 85% of India. Some people say Israel was created by driving the Palestinians out. How is that? The Palestinians themselves came from Saudi Arabia. Then they say Palestinians also need a nation. You need a nation? Jordan is 54% Palestinian. You got a Jordan. Jordan is a Palestinian country. You don't need a new country. But Israel was still ready to create a Palestinian authority. and would convert it to a state if they lived in peace. But they have not had a single day of peace since that agreement to create the Palestinian Authority. So I want to say, therefore, that today we as a people will pledge that we will never countenance or allow the destruction of Israel. We will work for bonding and further bonding with India's relations with Israel. I look forward to the possibility very soon, maybe at the early next year, that our Prime Minister will visit Israel and establish a country. I think it's time, because Israel has technology but limited manpower. We have limited technology and unlimited manpower. We are natural countries to come together. I was also told in China, where I've spent a lot of time improving relations between India and China, the Chinese also have a good relations with Israel. The Israeli embassy is there. And I think that the time has come to fight, in order to fight Israel, in order to fight for the enemies against the enemies of Israel, we need to bring together countries which face similar problems. And therefore we should look in the perspective of building mutual assistance pact with the Israelis. India and Israel should have a mutual assistance pact to help each other whenever necessary. Israel never need to fear that we are only 8 million or 7 million. And the Arabs are 150 million surrounding them. The 1.2 billion Indians are very with and those who are not for Israel, they don't matter. Because in our country, the national interests will prevail. We are a democratic country. It's not only the majority is for good relations with Israel, but it is also an overwhelming majority. And this has been a constant situation since the 1940s. India has been supporting, as Indian people have been supporting, right through. We recognized Israel as one of the earliest countries in 1950, and a consulate was established. But unfortunately, the Soviet influence in India, which was backing terrorist-prone states like Syria, Egypt, Iraq, and Libya, the Soviet influence in India put a brake on our relations with Israel. When the Chandrasekhar government came, in which I was a minister, we took the necessary steps, and I must say Mr. Narasimha Rao, as the successor Prime Minister, in which government also had a ministerial rank position, was the first government to invite the Israeli ambassador to India and establish full diplomatic relations. And since then the relation has grown and grown, and this will continue. And today, through the microphone and through you, I say to the people of Israel, fight on to protect yourself. We are with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Swamy, for that enlightening speech. I would just want to inform you that we have, as you entered, perhaps you may have noticed